Hello.
So, y'all want to know about budget-friendly camping. We're going to share 5 of our membership programs that allow us to camp at a very, very reasonable rate because we don't like spending crazy amounts of money on campgrounds.
And it makes a difference if you're full-time or if you're just camping for vacation. You know, that depends. So being that we're full-time, we're camping all the time.
Yeah.
So that's why we like to say that we have a budget or a certain amount, that a range that we like to stay in.
Yeah, because otherwise we'd be, all of our income would be going towards camping. We don't want that. It already goes towards fuel.
Yes, yes. So we spend enough in fuel. So
we decided we'll go ahead and share 5 of the membership programs that we are a part of that we use the most so we can have budget-friendly camping. Also, we've been asked about the types of campgrounds we look for, and we're going to share that with y'all as well. But before we do, y'all go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and get your notifications when the videos drop. Also, yes, let the YouTube algorithm know that our videos are worthy of being shown on their platform. Thank you very much. Feel free to comment because we love it, and share the channel. All right, so let's briefly talk about the types of campgrounds. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because we really want to get to the other stuff and we don't want to malinger. First type of campground we use, Thousand Trails, Encore, RPI. And I put all of those together as number 1 because they are all a part of the Thousand Trails program. It's embedded, or we can purchase it because of the level that we have, or it was given to us because of the level we have. Okay. Then the next type of campground we look for is Army Corps of Engineer.
Yes, and we really like the Army Corps of Engineers. Most of the time it's not full hookup. They won't have the sewage hookup, but the sites are huge and they're usually near a lake or somewhere near water. So those are really nice. You know, usually the maximum time to stay in those is 14 days anyway. So it's easy to manage and be able to go to the dump after you finish.
Yeah, and because we have the All Access Pass, National Park Pass, then camping at Army Corps of Engineer sites for holders of that pass is 50% off. So we've been to some that is $42, you know, and we pay $21. Or we've been to $15 and $24, not $42.
We paid as low as $12 and thinking 50 cents a night somewhere. You can't stay anywhere for that cheap.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what sites we stay at, they're cheaper than hotels. So, then the next thing's military campgrounds. You know, we like military campgrounds. I like military campgrounds because they're organized. I like being on base.
Yes.
You know, military background, and I just like being on base. There are certain things that go on base that I like. I like the commissary. I like the PX, BX. I like the national anthem in the morning. I like reveille in the evening. I like taps at night. I like that. So
anyway.
And then I'm sure Minnie has her things that she likes.
Well, I like it too because it makes you feel a little bit more secure on the base. So yes, it's pretty good. Yeah. So.
And then there's the Passport America campgrounds that we use, and you have to pay attention to Passport America campgrounds because just because it's a Passport America campground does not mean every night that you're there is discounted.
Correct.
So some will say
3 nights. Some will say 3 nights discounted, and then the rest you have to pay full price. And usually the weekend is when you'll have to pay full price. But through the weekdays, you usually could find you need to make sure that it's whether they're giving you 1 day, 2 day, or 3 or 4 days half price before you just calculate that up in your mind thinking that you're getting the whole place for half price.
Yeah.
And with that, being said, that's why we use that Passport America maybe as a stop-by place just to take a break, maybe 2-3 days at the most, and then move on.
And the biggest discount we got was when we were in Kanab, Arizona, and it was really, or Utah, but it was really windy. We had 5 nights, but it was really windy.
Yeah,
So you know, we left
after the first night. Yeah.
And we left and went to Lake Mead.
Yes.
And you know, but all 5 nights were discounted. So you can find some with up to like 6 nights that'll give you with a discount. So you got to watch the seasons with that too. But moving on, I got notes, y'all. I got notes. I'm not reading everything from the notes, but I do have notes.
Yes.
And then sometimes we'll resort to state parks if we can fit. But again, because of the prices of state parks, we tend not to stay in state parks long.
Yes.
We'll stay for a couple nights and move on. Were you gonna say
No, I was
something?
just going to, we stayed in Carlsbad. When we went to Carlsbad,
Yeah,
we
to
stayed in a state
Lake
park.
Brantley.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
I
it was really nice.
Yeah, but it was not over. It was like $24-$25 a night.
Yes, it was very
Yeah.
inexpensive.
Yeah.
So.
And then boondocking, and there's boondocking where you just find a place to boondock, and then there's regulated boondocking for you know, when I say regulated, I mean like rest stops, Cracker Barrel, Harvest Host, Boondockers Welcome, as
Yes.
opposed to the group camping spot we were on top of the mountain in Utah.
The BLM. Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
The BLM.
Bureau of Land Management.
All right. So yeah, those are the types of campgrounds that we use. And now we're going to talk about our memberships that we use. And 4 of them are memberships that help us that give us discounted, budget-friendly camping. The first one that we're going to talk about is our routing engine. And that's going to be RV Life Pro. RV Life Pro is a phenomenal trip planning suite. It consists of RV Life Trip Wizard, which is the route planning engine. Then that is online, and then there's RV Life, the app, and inside of the app you have maps, you can have your trip itineraries in detail, you have GPS, and you can also access RV Trip Wizard online through the app. So let's go ahead and take a look at RV Trip Wizard. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail because it could take all day to actually go through this program. So I'm just going to hit some key points and then move on. Okay, so once you get to the home page, you'll see it just gives you detail, gives you some information about RV Life Trip Wizard. Go to the planner. So when you first go in, when you first set up your account and you go in, it's going to have you set up your default settings. And though I'm not going to go into detail on these default settings, I'll show you some of the important settings. Your units of measurement is pretty important because we're in the US, we use imperial. RV info is important. You need to know the measurements of your RV. Alright, and you can do it manually, which is what I did, or you can let it let the engine, let RV Trip Wizard do it for you. For instance, we have a fifth wheel and it's a 2021 Grand Design Solitude 375 RES-R. So it gave me the correct specifications for that fifth wheel. It is 13 feet high. It is 41.3 inches long, and it does weigh 16,800 pounds max, the GVWR. But this is not what it's asking for, what RV Trip Wizard is asking for. It is asking for the height, the maximum height of your fifth wheel, of your rig, and it's asking for the total length of your rig. That is the truck and the trailer, or the motorized RV and the vehicle it's pulling. If you hover these question marks, it'll tell you exactly what it wants. So ours is 57 feet 2 inches, and our weight is actually going to be 24,800. Alright, and this is just asking you about your fuel, know your fuel capacity. Yours are routing and driving. The important thing over here is going to be knowing how far you want to drive before you actually pull over. Get 3 options here. You can stop after 300, 350, or 400 is the settings that I put in, and that's what these rings represent. Expenses, we don't use those except for camping, and that's just so I can monitor how much the campsite actually costed us. Save that, and then you want to go ahead and set up a trip. You create your trip. We're going to call our trip example, and we're going to leave on the 1st of April, and we're going to leave from 2110. This is where we're going to leave from. Now, this is just the information that you put in. They're giving you a chance to change it if you want to change it. All right. So over here is information that you put in, preferences for parks or filters and that sort of thing, the points of interest, your fuel stops, places you might want to stay overnight, and that sort of thing, and your hazard. Okay, then over here, another thing that's it's going to ask you to do is put in your clubs and your memberships that you're part of. All right. So we know where we're going to start from, this address here, and let's say we want to go to Acadia National Park up in Maine, right? Acadia National Park, which is in Bar Harbor, Maine. Boom. So we're not going to put anything in here for night staying because we're not going to be staying in the park. So it's just a point of reference. We'll save that custom stop, and what it did, it actually routed you from all the way down in Florida all the way up to Maine. Okay, now let's bring trip back. Anytime you click on these tabs, you can put these things away so you can have more room on your map too. So we'll go back here, and between these stops we want another stop. All right, and we're going to look at our radiuses that we set up. All right, so as you can see here, we need fuel by the time we get here. That's your fuel warning. So let's just go ahead and look for some fuel. So you want to click on these buttons up here to turn your maps and your points of interest off and on. All right, so I can see here there's some Loves and TAs after my fuel stop, but I don't want to wait until I get past. So I see that there's a Loves and or a TA right here. that I can use. I like using Loves, so I'm gonna go ahead to Loves, and I'm gonna put Loves between after 1,000 trails. Okay, so I've traveled 229 miles. I'm stopping for fuel. All right, and then I want to stop maybe for a few nights or so. All right, but I want to go close to 300 miles. So let's find that radius of 300. And that 300 miles is from 1,000 trails. So we're going to find our radius, which is right here. And we're going to see what parks are there. So now people have told us about parks up here around Savannah. So let's look at this. Skidaway Island is 315 miles. Now I have some options here based on my preference for campgrounds. I have military base, I have state parks, I have Passport America parks, and I have all these other parks and some Good Sam's parks. But I want to stay in the state park because I've heard about it. It's pretty nice. So I'm going to go here, and you see you can get photos of the park, what's in the park. Over here you can go to the website ORV Life Campgrounds, which gives you detailed reviews, satellite map. You can get a satellite look at the campground. Affiliation down here is the state park. Then you go over to your features here, the next tab, and you see everything that the park has in it. You can get reviews here. And then you have tips with Q's and A's. So over here you get tips, people telling you things you might want to do while you're there. And you got more questions and answers here, but these are Q's and A's. And here, the weather for the time that you plan on, the month that you plan on being there. All right, then we're going to add this to the trip, and we want to see Savannah, so we're going to stay. We're just going to go ahead and stay there like 5 days. Okay, and that's going to be coming after this Love's travel stop. Okay, and there you have it. I don't want Fort McAllister though. How did Fort McAllister get put on there? I'm going to get rid of that. I said I was staying in Skidaway, and here's Skidaway. So let's go ahead and put Skidaway in here. But everything stands the same. You got all of this here. It didn't really matter. So, but that's going to come after the Loves. But here's a good opportunity thing here. I forgot to put in here the amount that it's going to cost, right, and the number of nights. So I can go in here, right, once I find out what it's going to cost, you know, then I can put it in here. So you find out what it's going to cost per night, and that's what you put in right there. And I'm going to go on the low end at $45, and 45 times 5 is 225, right? So I've figured what it's going to cost me. I can go in here, I can click on my edit tool here, and I'm going to put in 5 nights here. It's going to cost me $45 per night. Now I can put in here $225 is what it's going to cost me to stay there for 5 nights, and I'm going to save that information. All right, so you see here you have the number of miles that you're going to drive, how long it'll take you to drive those miles, the number of nights that you're going to be staying in the park, and what the park will cost. All right, and that's what you do for your whole trip. It would just get redundant if I just kept doing that over and over. And that's pretty much how you set up your trip in RV Life Trip Wizard. Let's take a quick look at RV Life. And inside of RV Life, you have your home page, which gives you some pretty cool information. Then you can click on Maps, and Maps is filtered the way you want it filtered, whatever you want in there, whatever you don't. Then here you can get your trips, and you can get a detailed itinerary. This is the trip we just set up, and you can get a detailed itinerary. While you're in trips, if you click on this edit tool, then it'll open up RV Trip Wizard, RV Life Trip Wizard for you. Okay, and you can open up your trip that you just set up, and there it is, right? So you can turn your trip map, your trips off and on, your maps. You can go straight to your map. And your settings. All right, you go back. You can go to navigate here, which will take you to the GPS, and it'll take you from your current location to the location that you're going to. All right, and you see it puts you right there on the GPS.
And with RV Life Pro, the annual cost of it is $59 for the whole year. And we have a promo code. If you enter ORV20, you could get a 20% discount, and link below.
And also, just to let you know, when we use RV Life Pro, specifically RV Trip Wizard, after we set up a route, then each stop by stop, when we get ready to pull out of a stop, Minnie likes to look at the GPS. We have the Garmin ORV 890. She likes to look at that and make sure that it matches the route that RV Life Pro.
And so far we've had no problem. Everything match up, and once we get started, I just make sure that I set the GPS on fifth wheel. Always make sure you set it on fifth wheel and not on vehicle, and we're on our way.
And we're on our way. And that's because the same settings that we have, that y'all saw me put in RV Trip Wizard, I put into the GPS as well.
Yes.
All right. So next, we're going to talk about 1,000 Trails. Now, we're not going to go through a whole 1,000 Trails presentation for you. All right. But I am going to tell you, we have the Elite Connections package. Elite Connections package allows us to make reservations at 1,000 Trails parks 180 days out. So we get 6 months out to book reservations there at 1,000 Trails parks. And also with 1,000 Trails parks, we can stay 21 days and go park to park, 21 days max. Go from one park to another.
And when we book the 1,000 Trails parks that we can book 180 days out, we don't necessarily have all the other spaces in between filled yet. But we go ahead and secure the spaces that we can with 1,000 Trails parks that 180 days out, because we can.
Yes. And then we purchase what's called the Trails Collection, which gives us access to Encore parks. And we can do up to 14 days in Encore parks. But we have to be out of the Encore system for 7 days before we can use another Encore Park. But you can go from 1,000 Trails Park to an Encore Park to 1,000 Trails Park to an Encore Park.
And 7 days is really not a lot. So when you're thinking that you got to be out for 7 days, well, that may be an inconvenience. It really isn't.
It's not.
We've done it, and it's no problem. You know, you could hit Corps of Engineers, a state park, you know, or even 2 parks before you go into the next one, and it's not a problem.
Yep. Let's look at 1,000 Trails. Basically, I'm just going to look at booking a site. You can look at the reservations you have here. If you go in here, you can look at your reservations that you have set up. Going across the top, then into my account, your profile, campgrounds, trips is also the same as my reservations and all this other stuff you can do. My campgrounds, you click on that and you get a full list of all of the campgrounds in 1,000 Trails. All right, but we're going to book a campground, but we're going to book one someplace where someplace far away because Florida is still in its high use season. But here's one in Maine and Massachusetts. Look at that one. And you see when you click on it, wait, let me go back and I'm going to use Florida just so I can show you all some stuff here. I can use Arizona. So when you see a campground that looks like this, where it doesn't have a blue dot or a green dot with a $sign or a green dot, then this means it's 1,000 Trails Park. Okay, and you can book 21 days in this park. When there's a blue dot, that means it's a Encore Park. If there's a blue dot with AQ in it, that means there's an age requirement. If there is no AQ and it's just a blue dot, it means it's an Encore Park, and you have 60 days to book. You have 60 days to book this one too, but you have 180 days to book this one. And then if there's a $sign next to the blue dot, then that means there's a fee associated with staying in that park. Now the green dot, I'm not sure of. I have to look into that because I don't recall ever seeing a green dot until now. But, you know, so let's choose this park here, this Verde Valley, because I can book 6 months out. I'm going to, if you click on the name, then it takes you to the site, to the website. All right, so you click on book, then it sets you up to book the site. So, and it already has your information. If you want an RV site, we have a fifth wheel, 41 feet. All right, and then you choose your dates. 2 people and a pet. Choose your date. So let's say I want to go with, I'm going to go out to July because I already have parks booked. And you can't double book. So July, start on the 19th. And because it's the max time here is 21 days, it will only allow you to access dates 21 days out. So I'm going to go 21 days, and then I'm going to go ahead and choose this campsite. Now here, it lets you know what's available in that campsite. Back inside is pulled through off of 30 amp service with full hookups. Please contact the resort directly for 50 amp service requests. So we're not going to worry about that yet. Like I said, always say, Thousand Trails, it has its quirks and that sort of thing, but it's worth it. It's still worth it to me. So you hit select site, and if you get this page, then that means the site is available for you to use. If not, you'll get something saying that it's not available and you should call Thousand Trails, or for whatever reason. You click the check box. You check the box next to I agree with general policies, book reservation, and then you get an email sent to you that'll look something like this. Okay. And then, because we're not going to stay here, we're going to actually go ahead and delete this site. So we'll go into my trips, and we'll go down to this campground here, Verde Valley, and just click cancel. It'll say you want to, yes, and cancellation number will be sent to you. Okay, and then it's gone. And like I said, campgrounds, you can look at your campgrounds, view all your campgrounds here. And look here, we got some stuff here. So this is a Trails Collection Campground. 28-day restriction on this if there's a calendar. $20 per night if there's a $sign. Age qualified for AQ. And this is a Trails Collection RV resort. And so that's what all those dots mean. So, like I said, Thousand Trails has its quirks. It's not perfect, but it's worth it. So in our first year of camping, we paid off what we put out, like completely. Okay. And that was averaging the nights that we camped at $50 per night. And when we totaled everything, it paid for the amount that we paid out and an annual fee. But we're full-time. It makes sense for us to have Thousand Trails. It makes sense for us to have one of the higher level plans. If you're not full-time, there's still a plan for you. You can do zone passes if you want to do zone pass, and then there are other lower level plans that can be used. But like I said, for me, Thousand Trails has been completely worth it. And as I mentioned earlier, I added RPI because with our level, they gave us 2 years of an RPI membership, which is Resort Parks International. And we have 2 years of that. And with RPI parks, we only pay $10 a night. Yes. And we stayed in, I think, 2 of them while we were coming from California over to Georgia.
Correct.
And they were pretty nice.
And they come in handy coming across the middle of the country because there's not as many Thousand Trails or Encores, so you do have some options.
Yes. And so there's no discount code that we can offer you for Thousand Trails. However, if you use the information provided below, then we can get a credit of $100 towards our account. And we would certainly appreciate it if you drop our name, if you decide to use our link, or use the information below for our contact to purchase Thousand Trails.
Yes.
Next, we're going to talk about Harvest Host. Numbers 3 and 4 is Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome. So I have them listed as 3 and 4 separately because you can buy them separately, but I'm talking about them at the same time because you can find them in the same app or online service. So when you get to the home page, of course, you have to log in. And as you can see, Harvest Host has 786 wineries, 976 farms, 1,294 other attractions, breweries and distilleries, 566, golf courses 444, 3,366 Boondockers welcomes locations. Now, these numbers have gone up since the last time I looked. Last time I looked in this website, and which was a few days ago, this total number was 3,099. So they're adding constantly. Okay, and these are some of the new hosts that they added. And these are really, really nice places. So let's take a look at how this would work. So we're going to do a search for a host by location. And since it's here in front of me, I'm going to go search by route. And I'm going to put in Dallas, Texas. And let's say I want to go up to Omaha, Nebraska. Okay. And these are all of the hosts. Now, you see these dots with the numbers behind them? That means there are that many more hosts to view. And they're not just Harvest hosts, they're Boondockers welcomes as well. So as you can see, the closer you get, the more they break out. So you see. And then once you've seen one host location that you might want to stop at, then you can set it up. But let me just go through and show you. So this little tractor guy means it's a farm. This wine glass means it's a place I want to be because it's a winery. This little beer stein is another place I want to be because it's a distillery or a brewery. The golf ball on the tee is a golf course, of course. This little museum looking thing here means that it could be a museum. It could be, you know, one of the other miscellaneous attractions. For instance, this one is a coffee groundery placey. This one here, Arbuckle RV service. You can stay overnight. Then these little houses here are Boondockers welcome. So you see you can stay 2 nights here. It shows you all that. But I'm going to choose a site and go through a setup. I'm going to choose this winery because like I said. So here it tells you that the max rig size is 45 feet. Max nights is 1. All right, there's the address. You click on the name here, or let me go over here. You can see photos. You click on the name and it opens up to another page. This is where you will request your stay. All right, so again, 55, 4 parking spaces, 1 night, same day request, good. And here is the hours of operation. So you have plenty of time to get in there to participate. All right, and you come on down and it shows you who's what. Well, I mean, what you can have. Pets are welcome. They have Wi-Fi. You have separate tow vehicle parking and slide outs are allowed. They have a gift site, picnic area, wine tasting, sales and hiking. Okay, your parking surface will be grass. So you want to check the weather, make sure it's not going to be extra rainy before you go. All right, and it's showing you where it is. All right, and then here are the dates that is available. And you can choose one of these. So I'll choose the 25th of April. And of course, it's one night, so it's only gonna, and I gotta check out on the 26th. You do that, and then you click request to stay. I'm not gonna click request to stay because, you know, I don't want to have them tied up checking on it just to be able to, for me to go back and cancel it. So, but once you click request to stay, then you'll wait for them to respond to you with an okay. I've never been turned down. I don't know of anybody who's been turned down, you know. So that's pretty much it for Harvest Host. And Boondockers Welcome is pretty much the same. You click on a Boondockers Welcome. Okay, and this is one of those 5 nights. 40-foot long rig. Click on the name, and it tells you everything about it. They'll provide a campfire ring. Tells you everything about the place and the dates you can and see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nights. You click what you want and then send your request and wait for a reply to your request. And that's the extent of Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome. Now, it's important that, you know, when you go to a Harvest Host, you know, patronize the business. I've seen times where, you know, people would come in where it would be, you look and it says there are 4 spaces available, and there would be 4 spaces, and people would come in and they would park, and then they'd get up extra early and leave before the place opens or before anybody comes for the business. It is just so not cool, you know. So it's important. And, you know, people complain about, you know, how much they spent when they went to a Harvest Host. Number one, your spending is under your control. All right. Number one. Number two, all they ask is $20 minimum. If you spend more than that, well, then that's on you. You know, we spent $170, you know, on wine tastings, having glasses of wine with people we meet, you know, and buying wine. But you know what? So what? Because we had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time with people that we meet at these places. And that's what it's about, you know. That's just what it's about. So your spending, that's totally up to you. You're in charge of your money. And if you spend that much, then that's fine. But if you don't, and you don't have to spend that much, well, you know, don't spend that much, you know. But to be honest with you, I think it's completely worth it. If you decide you want to purchase Harvest Host is $99 per month. I'm sorry, $99 per year. But with a new membership, if you use the link below, you will get a 15% discount. Boondockers Welcome is $69 per year. And if you use the link below and discount code BWFriends15, you'll get a 15% discount there. Now, you can buy Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome together, and it will cost $169. And if you use the Boondockers Welcome website, the link for Boondockers Welcome, to make that purchase, you get 15% off of that amount. If you add golf courses, then it's $179, and you can also use the Harvest Host link and get 15% off of that one.
Yes.
Okay, then finally, we're going to talk about Passport America one last time. But we said a lot about Passport America. Mm-hmm. Again, it's 50%. You got to watch it because they have peak seasons. So, yes. For instance, November through March In April, November through March is peak season.
Yes.
I'm sorry, in April. In Florida,
Yes.
November through March is peak season. There is no discounts offered in Passport America in peak seasons in some of the campgrounds, most of the campgrounds.
Yes.
But in low season, when it's really hot in Florida, that is April through October,
Yes.
you'll find discounts everywhere. All right? You can just use the link below to purchase. I have no discount to offer, and nor do we get paid anything. Here's Passport America. So you click on a state. Now the thing about Passport America, when you see a campground that is Passport America, you want to go to either your Passport America app, or you want to go to the website that is passport-america.com, not the sister site passportamerica.com. Theirs is passport-america.com. And I don't have I can put the link below, but I don't have a discount code for it yet. I was waiting to maybe hear back from somebody. But if I get one, I will definitely let you all know. But as you can see, they offer 50% on over 1,200 participating parks. And what you do, like I said, if you see a campground that is a Passport America campground, you can go in and you can search by campground here. Or if you're just out on an adventure and you want to say, you know what, I want to go to Montana, and you click on Montana and you see a campground in here, well, you can click on that campground and you can get information about that campground. That's gorgeous. So, and here it tells you when it's when you can get your campground, when you can get your discounts, and how many nights are discounted. Okay. So this is something important that you want to know about, that you want to watch. Okay. So you don't end up getting in a campground and getting in a huff back and forth with someone. And although I didn't get in a huff and start going back and forth with someone, I recognized that the fault was mine. But we ended up paying more at a campground than we had anticipated when we were in Lubbock, Texas. But it was all my fault. So that's what you want to do with these. You want to pay attention to those areas there and know what you're getting into before you book yourself a campground. But like I said, for us, it's one of those things that we use as a layover. For instance, my driving style, I tend to go with the 333 method. That's 3 hours of driving or 300 miles. And when I stop, I stay for 3 nights. That's what we tend to do. I don't like getting up the next day, pulling into a campground, unhooking, getting up unhooking the rig, hooking up the utilities, then getting up the next day, unhooking the utilities, hooking up the rig, and getting out. I don't do that. The minimum of my stay is, I tend to want to stay at a campground is 3 nights. Now, if I'm boondocking, obviously at a Cracker Barrel or at a rest site or rest stop or whatever, then that's an overnight deal. So there are no hookups. So, but that's it. Passport America is an awesome membership. Just know how to use it and know what you want to use it for. If I have not said it, I am not sponsored by any of these membership programs that I told you about. So my opinions and everything that I have said about them is totally true and from my heart, with the experience that I have with them, and I enjoy every last one of them to the max. I really do. If you know me, I ain't gonna tell you something. If it's crap, I'll call it crap. All right, but if it's not, then I'm gonna say it's not, and neither one of these are. So guys, we're gonna go. Thank you for stopping by. We appreciate it. And if we don't see you all on the road, then hopefully y'all will watch us in our next videos.
Yes.
And again, we'd like to say thank you. Until the next time though, we'll just say bon voyage.